Hello there, I'm Christian, and this is No Code with NetMinds, a series to learn how to build beautiful things with tech without having to write a single line of code. On this part of the series, I want to focus on the front end, everything a user can see and touch. And we're going to use this also as an example to explain to you how no code works, how it does all the work for us. So let's get started. Okay, when you're talking about no-code tools in general, and specifically with front end, you always have like tools that help you and support you during the process. Like in this case, Canva, right? That can help you design all the images and everything, all the visuals for your web page, right, and for your front end. You also have tools like UMSO, right, that will help you build websites or tools or apps in a very easy and simple way, starting from a template. We're gonna see how that works. And then we have tools like Webflow that give you a lot more flexibility where you can build everything from scratch, but the learning curve is gonna be a little more challenging, although you will have something that is very unique. And as I was mentioning before, you have more flexibility on the type of solution that you can build, right? So in this case, for setting the stage, as you can see here, these two were built on UMSO, right? So these are templates that you can change. I'm going to see how that works in a little bit. And then in our case, for example, with NetMinds, it was built with Webflow, where you can have all these interactions, animations, and the way that the website is structured, you can see is a bit different than the rest, right? So you can differentiate much better with that one. So before we move forward, I want to explain to you a concept called HTML and CSS. Now, don't panic if you have no idea what this is, right? If you're not technical. This is the language that is used for every website that you see or you visit. And although you don't have to learn about it, or you don't have to learn how it works to build everything with no code, it's important for you to understand some basic concept from it, right? And the first one, I'm gonna show you with an example, is everything you see on a website or in an app is just boxes within boxes, right? So all the arrangement that you do on a website is you put your button inside a box, you put your text inside a box, and you put every section inside a box. But I think it's easier to see with an example. So I'm just going to show you one. So I'm going to show you a trick, right? You can see how almost every website is built watching the code that it has, right? The HTML and CSS code. So we're going to see it from Uber Eats just as an example to show you how everything works, right? So usually when you're, for example, on Chrome, you can press the buttons on your keyboard, Control, Shift, and I, right? And you're gonna be able to see the code inside it. So you're gonna see a lot of lines of code. But what I want to show you specifically is when you click here on this little button, you can see the boxes that I was mentioning before, right? So you see here that all these sections is within a box, the text is within a box, even the form fields are within a box, and the bottom is within a box. And you can even see some characteristics inside that, right? You can see the color, the font that is used, the background, and most importantly, like the position of it, right? The padding, that is like the margins inside of each one of those boxes. And then you also have the margin between each one of those boxes. So we're going to see how no code helps with all of this, right? Because you don't have to configure all of this to build your website with no code. You just arrange everything like if you're working with the slides, and then no code automatically generates all the code for this. So let's get to that example. So this is just an example of a web page that you could create on UMSO, right? So this is just a made-up company that I created, and it's based on one of our previous videos, right? On the previous video, we created or we developed a whole CRM using just a tool called Airtable, right? So now what we're doing is creating the landing page for that app. Now, as I have mentioned in previous videos, I always remind you that you need to have your story straight before going forward with assembling everything with no code, right? So in this case, I had my copy ready before going to build the website, right? So I knew I needed a title, a one-liner. I wanted a form to capture the email of the visitors. I wanted to showcase some icons and some logos and some quotes. I had some features that I wanted to show. At the end, I just wanted these little buttons, right? So before I went into it, I just wrote what I wanted, like roughly, and then I went to build it. We're gonna see how you can build something with this tool. So when you create an account on the tool, you're gonna get to a place like this, obviously without all this that you see here, but you're gonna be able to create a site, right? So let's go through that step by step, just to show you how it can be done, right? So once you click create and you start, it takes you step by step through some questions, right? So it asks you, why do you need the website, or what is the purpose of the website? So in this case, I'm just gonna choose one of them, idea validation. You can change everything later, so don't worry about it, right? So it asks you what your product is. So let's say in this case that I want to showcase a mobile and web application. Once you click next, you're gonna see that it already creates a little template that you can move around. If you see it, it's slightly similar to the one I showed you before, but just with some changes, right? So the logos, even the fonts and everything you see, and everything else that you see there is a bit different, right? So you just click next, and then it has like some alternatives. You can use illustrations like this. You can use mockups if you want to post some images of an app that you want to show, or if you don't want anything there, just typography, right? In this case, I'm gonna leave the one with mockups, although you can, as I was mentioning before, you can change it later. You click next, you can change some fonts. You can select more later, but in this case, just to help you make it easier, it gives you just these selections of choices. And then you can choose if you want a light website, more bold, if you want a darker background, or even darker in this case. I'm gonna go with the bold one, the more playful one, let's say. And when you click next, you can even select what type of content you want, right? So I can deselect everything, right? Or I can start adding new things, right? So if I want pricing, for example, it will add a little bit here about pricing. If I want frequently asked questions, it will put them there, right? Or if I want to email capture, you can have it there. So you see how easy it is to add or change little bits on the web page, right? And then at the end, in this case, we just click create. Once you click create, you can change the domain here. It automatically creates this one, but let's use a better one or a shorter one in this case. Let's say like 2. When you update domain, so this is the link that you will get. If you want one of those links that is .co or a domain that is yours, right, that it doesn't have the landen.co at the end, you will need to have the paid version. Right. But if, on the free version, you can build any website and you can publish it online, but it will have just this little subdomain here. Okay, now we can go to edit, and you're gonna see here that you can go to each one of those, right, and start writing your content, right, your content. You can even select and even have little features like these bullet points. You can even change those icons. So you see how simple it is, right? It's just like having a slides, like having a PowerPoint or Google Slides on it, but you're making a website instead of just a presentation. Now going back to the CRM Lite website that I showed you before, you can see here all the little pieces of content that I have, right? So the testimonials are these quotes, right? And here you can change everything, just writing on it, right? And you can even have the CTA, the call to action here, and you can change where it takes you, right? So you can see how easy it is. And then at the end, when you have everything ready, you just click publish. When it says site publish, you can click here and go visit your website. And there you are. That there is the website published. And you can even see what I was telling you before, right? Control Shift I in the case of Chrome, or you can go here on the more tools, here on more tools and on developer tools, and you're gonna get the same. And you're gonna be able to see when you click here to select elements, you're gonna see all those boxes that I was telling you before. And it has all the features, all the characteristics that I was mentioning, but it was all made for you by UMSO. So now you can see how usually all no-code tools work, right? It's like these little things and features and elements that are very reusable. And what they do is you just automate the whole process of building them, right? It's millions of people, thousands or millions of people doing the same, right? Every day, just creating the sections of a website, creating a title, and configuring everything. What NoCode does is just automating the way those repetitive tasks are made. So whether a person who doesn't know how to code or even coders are using it to straightforward their processes. So that was UMSO. Now we're going to see how Webflow works. And this is an example that you can see on every other no-code area, right? You're going to see the tool that does everything for you, and then you're going to see a tool like Webflow where you need to put a little more effort into designing and building stuff, but you're going to have something more unique and more flexible. Right? So in this case, whenever you create a new project, you're going to see that you can also have templates, right? You already have a list of templates that are free or that are paid. Now we start to see difference here. So you can see that you can start just from blank without having anything on it, or you can start from a template. Just for these examples, I want to show you how it works by selecting the blank site. So let's get to it. Right, you can have any name here. Let's just put a test and create project. So now you have it. You have created the blank page that I was mentioning before, and you have to add each sections and each item that you need, right? So in this case, you can add sections to it, right? Different sections as we were doing before with UMSO, but in this case, we have to do each one of them, right? And we have to put little blocks inside it to start putting the information there. So maybe if I want here to put an image, as we were seeing before, and a text, I need to do everything individually, right? So I have to go here, take a paragraph and put it there. I have to go there and take an image and put it there, right? And then start arranging everything. You see how this is not as straightforward as before. And then I need to configure everything on here. You see all of these configurations? These are all those little commands that we were seeing on the code before, all those formats that we were seeing about the margin, the padding, the colors, and the fonts. Everything is here. So just to show you the potential and how it works, this is like the end result for our website, the Netmans.uk. I just want to show you how it looks behind for you to understand a little bit. Now, maybe later in the series, we'll go deeper on how to work with Webflow. But after you have some weeks with it and you develop your skills with Webflow, you can develop a website like this in 2 or 3 days, maybe, right? If you have obviously having before all the content and the images and the information, you can have around 1 or 2 days to build a website like this, right? So now you see that for each button, I needed to configure for each one of them the width, the fit, how they fit inside of the web page, even the font that they have, the alignment of each one of those tags, something that you didn't have to worry about on the previous one. Now, obviously, there's a lot to do here, but as you can see, you have all the flexibility to build everything you want, right? You can make your imagination go really away and the sky with tools like this. So it depends on the problem that you have and the solution that you require. Right? If you need something fast that you need to deploy right away, and you just want to put your message across, you can use UMSO. But if you want something that is more flashy, that you need interactions, animation, and something that looks more unique than the rest, maybe you need to go deeper on Webflow and take some more time to build it. So that's it for this part of the series around front end. We went through some of the tools that we can use to build a web page, but also I wanted to show you what I was mentioning before, how NoCode works, right? How it does all the work for us. So I hope you have enjoyed this part of the series, that you have learned something, and please let us know in the comments or let us know through our social media what else do you want to see, right? What kind of problems that you want to solve with NoCode, and maybe we can build a video around it and choose the right tool for that specific problem. Let's see you next time.